We're going to start with the word on the street about teenagers. Word on the street is they are lazy, they are immature, they are amoral. They don't even have any system of morality that they follow with any consistency. They are interested only in parties, iPods, video games, and maybe Facebook, maybe Pinterest we could throw in there, Twitter. They're ignorant. Everything. They're irresponsible. But I want to focus, folks, on this last one, which is responsibility, and ask the question, is that true? Are you, as teenagers, responsible? And I think it probably depends on what we mean by responsible. There's a few different definitions. One definition means reliable, so able to be counted on, owing to qualities of conscientiousness and trustworthiness. This, I think, is what people probably mean when they say teens are not responsible. In other words, they don't do what they're supposed to do. They're not reliable, right? But I want to focus on a different definition of responsible. And that is answerable or accountable as for something within one's power, control, or management. Are you responsible in this sense? Are you responsible for your actions? For your life? Maybe not. The courts, for example, may not hold you fully responsible for your actions until you're 18. Your parents may not hold you responsible. Society may say you're the product of your genes and your environment, and so you're not responsible for your actions. They may say your brain isn't fully developed, and so you're not responsible for your actions. But consider this. Fast forward your life 20 years. Where will you be? And what will your life be like? Will you be happy? What or who will determine the answers to these questions? What or who will determine the answers to these questions about your happiness? Who will you blame if your life is a wreck in 20 years? Who will be responsible if your circumstances are less than desirable? Who will be to blame if you are not the person you would like to be morally, intellectually, physically, and vocationally? Mom and dad? Society? Chance? Cruel fate? God? Now, you may be justified in blaming these people and circumstances. But what good will that do you? In the past, bad things may have happened to you, and they may be really bad things. And later in your life, you may be justified in blaming them for your troubles. But what good will that do you? If you had the chance to change your future, to improve your life, to do something today that would lead to higher fulfillment and happiness tomorrow, would you do it? Then what are you waiting for? Whether you are technically responsible or not, your actions and decisions today will play a role in what your life looks like tomorrow, what kind of person you are, and whether you find fulfillment. You have the power to change your life and your future. Your circumstances, past or present, may be hindrances, burdens, and obstacles to be overcome. Opportunities to find fulfillment and challenges to strengthen you. Your obstacles might be great, your hurts deep, and your difficulties many. But even if you could improve your life just a little bit, wouldn't it be worth it? The only reasonable motivation for doing anything is to increase your own sense of fulfillment. And how do we find fulfillment? In pleasure, sex, food, fun? Sure, we can find fulfillment in all of these things. But a lot of these things can be pretty short-lived, so the fulfillment doesn't last very long. But there are things that bring sustained fulfillment. Love, compassion, honor, achievement, and responsibility. There's the satisfaction of a job well done or an obstacle overcome. There's the fulfillment that comes from liking and being proud of who you have become, knowing you fulfilled your duty, helping others, improving yourself and your life. Can you influence your present and future level of fulfillment? You sure can. But we need to take a long-range view. It's not reasonable, obviously, to exchange a high level of long-range fulfillment for a little bit of fleeting happiness today. Think about a dog. So a dog can see what's right in front of it, and the dog just, that's it. I want that right now. I'm going to take that. I don't care what happens as a consequence. I don't care about tomorrow. I don't even know about tomorrow. Okay? Now, we're a little bit different. Sure, we can still see what's right in front of us, and just like the dog, we have desires for whatever that is, and we want that right now, right? Just like a dog. But we have another ability, and that is we can see the future. We can imagine the future, and we can picture a future where there's a whole string of experiences that we want. Okay? So in the future, so for us, we can see, for example, that maybe if I forgo this thing right now, then I might get more in the future, right? And I might have a steady stream. So we can actually look into the future and plan for a steady stream of these things that bring happiness. In other words, it might be fun to get drunk today, to have sex, to be lazy, to waste your time. But how will that affect your fulfillment tomorrow or in 10 years? What if instead you did what you knew was right and best in the long run and invested in the future and worked towards long-term, big-time, high-payoff, long-lasting goals? Little choices you make today are choices between alternatives for tomorrow. Choices between greater or lesser fulfillment, good and evil for yourself. They create habits, good or bad. They affect relationships, for better or for worse. They mold our character, our abilities, and our lives. Little choices you make today can affect your circumstances and your character and your fulfillment tomorrow. No one wakes up one day and decides to have a miserable life. But it happens. There's plenty of miserable people out there. It happens one little choice at a time. But you can wake up and decide to live for fulfillment. What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to live? When you were lying on your deathbed, what kind of life do you want to look back on? Live it. See, teenagers today are response able in that they have the power to choose, to affect their own destinies, and chart their own courses toward fulfillment. Begin today.